So, one time in late fall, there's 4 of us, and we decided to go possum hunting. And so we went out with our cap and ball muzzle loading guns. And there's 4 of us, like I said. I was the youngest. The next up was my friend Husky Boy. And then there's Robert Ogle. And then my older brother, he had let me tag along. So there we was in the woods, and we was enjoying doing some shooting and all, but hadn't had much luck at that time. And it was getting toward the evening, and we decided to maybe, take a little break there in the woods and warm up a bit, because it was a cool, smoky mountain evening. So we gathered up some sticks and gathered up the leaves and started a little fire there, right there in the woods. And then we decided to have some fun. We was going to pop some fire coals. You have any idea what that is? I'll tell you. Well, first of all, you get yourself a flat rock. And you put that flat rock near the fire there, or on some surface that would be hard and hold it good. And then you spit on that rock before you put it down. So you got the rock there. And then somebody gets a hot coal from the fire. And you put that hot coal right there on top of that spit, right in the middle of it. And then you take a poleaxe. Now, we carry poleaxes in the woods when we're hunting like that, so that if we need to chop down a tree that we got something treed in, or if we need to chop some firewood or something like that, we got it on hand. Now, it's a... Oh, look, somebody left one right here. Now, the poleaxe that we carry is not quite like this one. Head's about the same, a little smaller, but it's a shorter handle, about 12 inches or so. And you use that poleaxe. First of all, you spit on the flat side. And then you rear back with that thing, and just as hard as you can, you hit that coal, that red hot coal, and pooh! Oh, it makes this loud noise. It's just like firing a gun. Oh, and we just laughed. You know how boys like their noise, don't you? So that was a lot of fun for us. And also, popping fire coals is cheaper than buying the balls for the bullets for the gun, you know. So we kept on doing that, lifting up that poleaxe, and pow! Oh, and the sparks was a-flying everywhere. And it was my job and the Husky Boy to put out the sparks, so we was doing that as this was happening. Well, we kept on doing it, just hitting that hot fire coal, and it was so much fun. Well, after a while, we decided, well, we better get back to hunting, you know. If we don't carry nothing home with us, they ain't gonna like that. So we put out the fire real good, stomped it down, and then we headed on off in towards the woods. Well, as we was walking along, we heard some snapping and crackling behind us. And we looked, and oh my, there was a forest fire started. Oh gosh, so we run back and we tried to stamp out that fire. There's a little creek running by. We got some water poured on it, but the fire had already spread too much, too big. And the flames was getting higher and higher all around us, it seemed like. Well, the older boys, the 3 of them, they saw kind of a weak spot in the fire. So they run through it to get to the other side. I was the last one. I was the youngest, and I was the smallest, and I was the scaredest too, because when I looked at that fire, I said, I can't do that. So I decided I'd better try to outrun that forest fire. So I took off as fast as I could, just to run into the woods to get out of there. I didn't want that fire to get me. So, oh my, I was running from that old forest fire just as fast as my legs could carry me, and it was just a licking in my heels coming on down. Well, I thought to myself, I am a goner. But I looked, and there was this great big old holler log. And I said, well, I'm going to get inside that log. I don't care if there's a black bear in there. I don't care if there's a rattlesnake or 2. And I don't care if there's a skunk. I'm a-coming in. Move on over. So I climbed inside that log. And pretty soon I could hear the roar of the fire coming over. It was just leaping over that log. And oh, it was getting warm in that log. And I had to take my hat. And I put it right over my face there so that it could strain the smoke out and I could breathe. And so there I was in the woods just a panting for breath. And getting hotter and sweatier all the time. And after a little while, the roar of that forest fire had gone past me. And I was still alive. And I thought, oh my, let me see what's going on. So I backed out of that log. And I looked around everywhere. And oh my, where there had been pretty fall leaves here and there wasn't nothing now but black. Everything was burned up. Some of the trees was still smoking from burning and dropping leaves down on the ground. Oh, we even saw an animal or two that had been trying to get away from that thing. Oh, it looked terrible. Well, there was still some fire going on that it looked dangerous, so I decided to go back in the log, and I spent the night in there. Next day, I heard my brother calling out, "Wiley!" And he'd come and found me. Well, the thing that puzzled me is, why in the world, of all the places that I could have been, how is it that I survived? Well, come to find out that the tree, that holler log, that good soaked log there, was the American chestnut. Now, the American chestnut, oh, it was so much a part of the Smoky Mountains in the beginning times. They say that there was at least a third of the trees in the Smoky Mountains was the chestnut. And there was like 150 some different kinds of trees, but the chestnut is the one that I crawled into. And what they tell me is that the chestnut, that wood is acid wood. Some of the lumbermen would cut down the chestnuts to get the acid out of it for tanning leather, you know. And so it was the acid in that tree that protected me. And I was saved. And oh my, I sort of have loved the American chestnut ever since. I loved it even before. And it's so sad that Asian blight, the terrible chestnut blight, come along and just wiped out stand after stand of these beautiful old chestnut trees. Just a few here and there remaining. But I am grateful that however it happened, I was able to find this chestnut tree. The mighty tree that once was so big you couldn't put your arms around it, some of them, and way on up to the sky. No more, but a good memory in the Smoky Mountains. Oh, fire's a terrible thing, I tell you. And there was another fire in my life that was not very good. In fact, they called it the worst wildfire that they had ever seen in the Smoky Mountains. This is after I got married and I was living up in Bullhead. Whew. Well, I'll maybe tell you about that one another time. But right now, all that running and all, I'm a little dry. I think we'll go get me some drink out the creek over here. Hope to tell you another story sometime. You take care of yourself. Goodbye.